Hey everybody, it's Derek Christensen from Legion Law. How are you guys today? Today, I want to talk to you about wills versus trusts. Who wins the great battle and the great debate among estate planning attorneys? But before I dive into that, I just want to remind you guys how you can reach out to me. You can contact me on my Contact Us page on my website, legionlawpllc.com, or you can reach out to me directly via email at Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com. So with that, let's dive right in. This is a very touchy topic for some attorneys because there are different ways to go about whether or not you should go with a will or you should have a trust. Now, I do want to say right from the get-go, anything is better than nothing, because if you have no estate plan, if you have no will or no trust, you're in a very, very dire situation, to put it frank. I mean, I don't want to over dramatize it, but it is certainly much worse to have nothing than to have at least something. So that out of the way, I say this because this is a very common question I get with clients. Most people understand what a will is. It's a very common document that people discuss, but my clients have come in and said, hey, I've heard of trusts. What are they? What do they do? Which one should I go with? And the answer is always the classic answer of it depends. But I'll explain just very briefly the difference between a will and a trust. And you can find plenty of videos on this that I've created, other people have created. So there's lots of content out there. But essentially, a will is a document that disposes of your property after you pass away. It's a simple, it can be 1 page, it can be 100, whatever you want it to be. But essentially, it states, I pass away, go before a judge, and the judge will say, yes, what is inside this document is valid. That's called probate. And in probate, then they split up all the assets according to how you wrote it in the will. But there's another document called a trust a trust declaration that creates a trust, which essentially creates a legal vehicle that you can store stuff in. And then when you pass away, somebody gets in charge of that legal vehicle, distributes things how you determine inside that document. And it's essentially, I mean, it's a poor analogy, but it's kind of like creating a family company. You create the company, you put stuff inside the company, and then you put yourself as CEO. You live your normal life, you buy stocks, you trade stocks, you go to the office in your car, your house is still the same, nothing changes, except for just on paper, everything is inside the trust instead of your own individual name. And that's kind of a pain to set up. It costs a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it is much faster than going before a judge. So pros and cons. So that's a will, that's a trust, and I kind of dived into the pros and cons a little bit, but essentially the great debate is how do you want to go through probate? And again, probate is the process of which a judge will say, yes, this is a valid will, and let's divide things up according to what's stated in the will. Now you think that'd be really, really fast, but it's actually not. And in Texas, it can take 6 to 18 months to do probate, and usually it costs a couple $1,000 at least. Some attorneys charge anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 to more. To do probate. So that is a concern because it costs a lot to do probate. It takes a long time. During those 6 to 18 months, things are frozen. You can't sell the house, stuff like that. And it's public information. Today, I could go onto the Dallas County Court website and look at all the wills that have been submitted recently and see everything that's going on. And if I'm a creditor and I know you owe me money, I can go and see your will and then say, hey, you got $10,000, man, you need to pay up. So that's a concern for some people. So that's probate, is that process. Now a trust completely avoids probate, so that's a very big plus on the trust side, but it has some cons in the fact that almost always it costs more to set up and it takes paperwork. It requires you to make some effort. A will, you just sign it and you're done. But a trust, you sign it, then you have to fund it, which is changing everything on paper so that the trust owns everything. So, pros and cons. If you want to have a simple life and you want to just sign a document and you're done, you don't want to deal with it, you're fine with your estate paying for probate, you're fine with your heirs waiting 6 to 18 months, whatever, then a will might be more appropriate. But if you want to save the most money in the long run, then you're probably going to want to do the trusts. And again, I don't mean to bash other attorneys. I'm not trying to speak bad about them, but some attorneys, they knowingly only talk about wills because you write a will, you get paid once, then the first spouse dies, you do their probate for that will, and then the second spouse dies, then you do that probate. So that's 3 different opportunities to get paid from a client if you do a will. But If you do trust, you get paid once to do the trust, and then there is no probate for either spouse. So at the end of the day, you only get paid once, and the total amount for a will and 2 probates is almost, I don't know, 3, 4, 10 times more money than if you just do a trust once. So I personally believe you should do what's in the best interest of the client. I personally believe what's cheaper and what's faster is going to be in the best interest of the client almost always. So that almost always will direct me towards a trust at first, and then I trusts are only suspect if certain circumstances pop up, but I recommend them strongly. So that's a little bit to think about. Again, it just depends. If you want a judge to be looking at everything because you know people are going to start fighting as soon as you pass away, maybe you want probate. If you have a special needs trust and you're already complicated enough with your life with helping a special needs person in your life, and you kind of want probate to make sure everything is up to order, and you want to make things just simple and just let a judge take care of it, maybe probate and a will is more appropriate. So again, just depends, but I'm in the trust camp myself, and again, a will is an option, but it's suspect at first. So that's it. I'm sticking to it. So with that, that's all the information I have for today in this video. But if you have any other questions or if you have any other concerns, again, please reach out to me at legionlaw.com/contact us, whatever contact us page it is, or you can reach out to me via email at Derek, DEREK, at legionlawpllc.com. So thank you so much. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. So thank you.